There are questions no one dares to ask, places forgotten by time, stories that never made it into history books, unexplained events whispered between skepticism and fear. But every mystery, no matter how well hidden, always leaves a trace, a fragment, a vibration, a half-open door. Welcome to the Mystery Corner, the shadowy side of Myst Arcana. Here we follow the echoes, listen to the silence, and chase truths few dare to seek. Forgotten tales, forbidden discoveries, invisible connections, nothing is as it seems. Get ready to question everything you think you know, because in this corner, mystery never sleeps. Did ancient astronauts really visit Earth and influence our cultures? This is one of the most controversial yet fascinating theories of recent decades. According to supporters of this hypothesis, many ancient religions and myths could be reinterpreted as accounts of contact between early humans and an advanced extraterrestrial race. First, as always, we invite you to subscribe to the channel. It's a small gesture that helps us immensely and ensures you won't miss future updates on topics you won't find anywhere else. For those who embrace the ancient astronaut theory, primitive humans may have mistaken these alien beings for gods, trying to preserve the events and teachings they received through sacred rituals, symbols, and religious texts. Writings like the Bible, as well as various archaeological artifacts scattered around the world, could thus be read as indirect evidence of these encounters with visitors from other worlds. It's an idea that completely overturns the conventional historical narrative. But is it plausible that a less advanced civilization could have confused beings equipped with advanced technology for deities? History provides examples that seem to suggest so. A striking example is the cargo cult, which spread during World War II across several islands in the South Pacific. These populations lived in extreme isolation, with no contact with modern technology. When Allied forces began using these islands as military bases, supplies, food, clothes, medicine, tools, were parachuted down from massive cargo planes. The islanders, seeing these unexpected gifts falling from the sky, were so amazed by the soldiers' technology that they began to view them as supernatural beings. Some even believed the supplies weren't meant for the soldiers, but were sent by their ancestors as divine gifts. When the war ended and the military left the islands, the supplies stopped. However, in many places, the rituals continued. They began to imitate what they had seen, building makeshift runways and wooden replicas of airplanes, hoping the sky gods would return. This modern example shows how easy it is for a technologically underdeveloped civilization to interpret contact with advanced beings as a religious or mystical experience. And if this happened just 80 years ago, why couldn't it have happened thousands of years ago? They enacted ceremonies that mimicked the behavior of airport workers, lighting fires to simulate runway lights, building crude airplane replicas, and preserving the items left behind by the soldiers as sacred relics. For years, they carried out these rites to win back the favor of the mysterious celestial entities, hoping they would bring them food, clothes, and material goods again. One particularly iconic story is that of John Frum, an African-American soldier who participated in a military mission on one of these islands. The natives, struck by the fact that he had dark skin like them, considered him a god who had come to help them, crediting him with the arrival of the gifts from the sky. The name John Frum is most likely a contraction or transformation of the phrase John from America. These events, documented by various anthropologists, have sparked the curiosity of many scholars who wonder whether ancient humans may have had similar experiences. Is it possible that they reinterpreted alien behavior and technology, elevating beings from space to the status of gods, just as the South Pacific Islanders did? History, in fact, seems to suggest that the ancient astronaut theory is at least plausible. It's therefore conceivable that similar events occurred in the distant past, and that ancient civilizations mistook technologically advanced beings for gods. Could it really have happened this way? Is it possible that extraterrestrial visitors changed the course of human history? If a primitive civilization can easily misinterpret advanced technology as divine manifestation, then there might exist isolated communities that have preserved extraordinary knowledge stemming from an ancient contact. A fascinating example of this is the Dogon tribe, who live in West Africa, in Mali. This is a community that remained isolated for centuries and was considered primitive, far removed from the modern world's technology. French anthropologist Marcel Griol lived with the tribe for a long time, and in the late 1940s, reported an astonishing story told to him by the village's spiritual leaders. The elders shared secrets that had been passed down for generations and closely guarded until then. They recounted that, in ancient times, an alien civilization had settled on Earth, passing on extraordinary astronomical knowledge to their ancestors. These beings were called the Nomo. According to the elders, the Dogon had long known that our galaxy, the Milky Way, has a spiral shape, that Jupiter has 4 moons, and that Saturn is surrounded by rings. Despite their cultural and technological isolation, they knew that planets revolve around the sun. But what most impressed Grial was the Dogon's deep knowledge of the Sirius star system. According to their tribal lore, Sirius is composed of 3 stars: Sirius A, Sirius B, and Sirius C. Surprisingly, the elders knew that Sirius B is a very dense but faint star, which is accurate, as today we know it to be a white dwarf. Even more extraordinary is the fact that they were aware of the existence of Sirius C, a star whose official confirmation only came in the 1990s, based on observed anomalies in the orbits of the other 2 stars. How could a civilization with no sophisticated astronomical instruments have known such precise details about stars invisible to the naked eye? If the ancient astronaut theory holds any truth, the Dogon could be the keepers of an ancient memory, that of an encounter with beings from another world. Sirius C is a red dwarf, much less luminous than the other stars in the system. But how could a primitive tribe, located in a remote region of Africa, know about the existence and characteristics of this star? Could this be compelling evidence that the small Dogon tribe has been passing down ancient knowledge inherited from a highly advanced alien civilization? The account of anthropologist Marcel Griol generated great interest within the scientific community. However, there were also critical voices. According to some scholars, the tribe may have acquired astronomical knowledge from the many missionaries, explorers, and travelers who had been visiting Mali since the early 20th century. Others suggest that the anthropologist himself might have, albeit in good faith, misunderstood or influenced the words of the tribal leader, interpreting them in a way that aligned with modern astronomical knowledge. Whatever the truth may be, Griol's account remains a fascinating testimony, frequently cited by those searching for evidence to support the ancient astronaut theory. But do ancient documents really exist that could confirm this theory? Some believe they do. The branch of ufology that focuses on the search for ancient written traces is known as paleoceti, or clipeology. Its proponents analyze ancient texts for references to unidentified flying objects. The term clipeology was coined by Umberto Corazzi, derived from the Latin word clipeus, which referred to the round shield used by Roman legionaries. The choice of the term is no coincidence. Many ancient authors describe the presence of clipei ardento, or fiery shields hung in the sky. Various Latin sources report such observations. Cicero in De Divinatione speaks of a nocturnal sun, of luminous spheres, and of loud noises coming from the sky. Pliny the Elder recounts fiery shields crossing the skies of Rome. Seneca describes numerous mysterious apparitions, beams of light that remained motionless in the sky for days. Thus, reports of luminous spheres and strange objects in the sky are numerous in Latin literature. However, for the official scientific community, these accounts hold no evidentiary value. According to the most widely accepted interpretation, the ancients simply reinterpreted astronomical or meteorological phenomena, such as fireballs, comets, meteors, or auroras, using the language of their time. But Indian texts are of a different nature. These narratives, often attributed to unknown authors, seem to describe with remarkable detail episodes that resemble nuclear wars, flying vehicles, and even space travel beyond Earth's orbit. In the Mahabharata, one of the most important epic poems of Indian tradition, which tells the story of the ancient Bharata dynasty, there is a surprising description. It speaks of an explosion capable of annihilating entire armies, leaving behind massive columns of smoke rising one above the other, evoking the image of a nuclear blast. In the Ramayana, another significant Indian epic, the Vimanas are described, mysterious flying objects capable of moving on land, through the sky, and even underwater. The texts offer detailed descriptions of these flying machines and include surprisingly complex scientific notions. Could it be that these ancient Indian texts recount a lost technology and ancient wars between civilizations, possibly of extraterrestrial origin? Many scholars believe these are merely epic poems, myths, and allegories, born from the imagination and symbolic reinterpretation of distant events. On the other hand, if such an advanced civilization had truly existed in India thousands of years ago, wouldn't we expect to find some tangible evidence today? Are there truly no findings to support the stories contained in these ancient poems? Perhaps that's not the case. The Mahabharata, in fact, describes an event that, when compared with modern knowledge, might resemble a nuclear explosion. It speaks of a single projectile charged with all the power of the universe, of an incandescent column of smoke and fire, bright as 10,000 suns, rising in all its splendor. It was an unknown weapon that swept away masses of warriors, horses, elephants, and chariots as if they were dry leaves in the wind. The explosion generated gigantic clouds that rose one above the other like immense parasols. If such events truly occurred, one might wonder whether it's possible to find evidence supporting those stories today. Some researchers point to the Lonar crater, located not far from Mumbai, as the potential epicenter of an ancient nuclear explosion. The crater, about 150 meters deep, was formed in a region of basaltic rock, and so far no definitive evidence has been found indicating a meteorite impact. Although the origin of the crater remains uncertain, and probably too ancient to be directly connected to the events described in sacred texts, there are clues that continue to raise questions. The research of David Davenport, for example, has revealed surprising connections between the ancient Indian accounts and the archaeological remains of the city of Mohenjo-Daro. Davenport studied Hindu texts and the artifacts of Mohenjo-Daro for over 10 years, concluding that the city was destroyed about 4,000 years ago by a powerful nuclear explosion. According to his analyses, the area shows clear signs of exposure to extreme heat. There appears to be evidence of an epicenter where walls were literally melted and vitrified, as if struck by extremely high temperatures. During archaeological excavations, numerous skeletons were found scattered in the streets, some of them holding hands, as if caught by a sudden and catastrophic event. Why were those bodies never buried? And why were they not attacked by wild animals, instead remaining intact for centuries? What makes it all even more mysterious is that abnormal levels of radiation have been recorded in the area. The skeletons themselves reportedly contain high levels of radiation. According to David Davenport, Mohenjo-Daro is concrete evidence of an ancient nuclear destruction, consistent with the descriptions found in Hindu texts. The anomalies of the city attracted the attention of the scientific community, fueling the debate around the ancient astronaut theory and the possible use of advanced technology in a distant past. However, it is also true that many scholars have rejected the hypothesis of a nuclear explosion at Mohenjo-Daro. One of the main objections is that not all houses were destroyed. Some buildings made of simple mud bricks are still standing today. It's hard to imagine that such fragile structures could have withstood a powerful nuclear blast. The mystery of Mohenjo-Daro, therefore, remains unresolved. It may not represent definitive proof supporting the accounts found in the Indian epic poems, but the strangeness surrounding it continues to attract the interest of the scientific community and enthusiasts alike. Ancient texts, in any case, offer numerous cues in favor of the ancient astronaut theory. But beyond the texts, there are also archaeological artifacts that, according to some, could confirm a possible alien contact that took place in ancient times. This is the field of study of space archaeology, a discipline that seeks to identify traces and physical artifacts documenting an ancient encounter between humans and extraterrestrial civilizations. One of the most fascinating and mysterious artifacts is represented by the Nazca lines. These consist of around 300 drawings traced on the desert ground of Nazca in Peru, Gigantic figures and complex geometric shapes carved into the sand, impossible to recognize from the ground and perfectly visible only from above. But who created them? And more importantly, why? To create these enormous drawings, it appears the ancients removed the surface layer of soil, revealing the lighter ground beneath. One of the most puzzling aspects is that the figures are not visible from the ground. Only from an altitude of at least 300 meters can they be fully appreciated. This raises a crucial question. How did they manage to draw them without seeing them from above? Various theories have been proposed. Some scholars have hypothesized that the Nazca people may have been capable of building primitive hot air balloons to observe the terrain from the air, but there is no concrete evidence to support this hypothesis. Another theory suggests that the designs were first sketched in miniature and then enlarged using a grid of ropes, applying geometric principles. It's undeniable that those who created the lines possessed a remarkable understanding of geometry. If the technique used to make the lines is a fascinating puzzle, their purpose is even more mysterious. Why would a people invest so many resources in creating drawings only visible from the sky? Again, there are multiple theories. Some believe the lines could represent a solar calendar. Researcher Maria Reiche hypothesized that the figures had astronomical alignments, particularly with the stars of Orion's belt, and that they may have served as a sort of gigantic astronomical calendar. However, later studies partially debunked this theory, noting that only a small portion of the lines are correctly aligned with celestial bodies. Proponents of the ancient astronaut theory propose an alternative hypothesis. The lines could be the work of an alien civilization, with the Nazca later replicating the designs after learning the technique. A way to communicate with the sky, or perhaps to honor those superior beings who, according to some theories, visited Earth in ancient times. Supporting the ancient astronaut theory, there are numerous legends in Nazca, Peru, that speak of a people from the sky, gods who descended to Earth in ancient times. Some researchers link the mysterious Nazca lines to the discovery of elongated skulls, considering them potential evidence of hybridization between humans and alien beings. However, these are mere speculations, currently lacking solid scientific support. Among the drawings, one has garnered particular attention, what appears to be an astronaut. However, according to some analyses, it may simply be a stylized depiction of a priest. Even more surprising and mysterious is the image of a spider belonging to a very rare species, Ricinulae, which lives exclusively in a specific area of the Amazon rainforest. This spider is characterized by a unique biological feature. Its reproductive organ is located on its right leg, separated from the rest of its genitalia. The animal measures approximately 6 millimeters, and such details are only observable using a microscope. How could the Nazca people have known of such a rare spider, hundreds of kilometers away, and even depict a characteristic visible only with modern technology? And why did they do it? The Nazca lines remain a fascinating enigma still being studied today. Currently, the most widely accepted hypothesis among scholars is that the lines may have served as sacred pathways used during religious rites linked to an ancient calendar. Other researchers believe such rites were associated with water, a vital resource in the arid region of Nazca. In recent years, a sophisticated network of aqueducts, an ancient water system, has been discovered nearby. Currently, the most widely accepted hypothesis among scholars is that the lines may have served as sacred pathways used during religious rites linked to an ancient calendar. But while many researchers seem to have found explanations related to local religious practices for the Nazca lines, there are artifacts far more enigmatic, whose origins remain completely unknown, and which, according to some accounts, may pose a danger to humans. We're talking about the mysterious Siberian Holgius. The Holgius are located in the Republic of Yakutia in northeastern Russia, one of the coldest places on Earth, in the heart of the Siberian taiga. A vast expanse of coniferous forests, swamps, and rivers, largely unexplored by humans. According to local populations, strange structures rise in an area known as the Valley of Death, structures they call Holgius. This area, according to legends, was struck by an ancient and mysterious cataclysm that uprooted entire portions of forest and hurled rocks hundreds of kilometers away. The structures, according to accounts, are metallic, dome-shaped, partially buried in permafrost, with diameters ranging from 6 to 9 meters. Apparently made of copper, some have openings and stairs leading inside, where circular corridors in various chambers are said to exist. A curious fact is that inside, the temperature is said to be mild, in stark contrast to the freezing temperatures outside. Yet hunters and nomads in the area avoid these domes entirely. They recount that those who spent more than one night inside later died from unknown illnesses. In 1947, a gold prospector, Mikhail Koroteski, claimed to have spent the night in one of these structures with his companions. Shortly after, one of them lost all his hair, while Koroteski developed 2 pustules on his face that never healed. In 2006, a research team led by Ivan McCurl located one of the domes and recorded inexplicable electromagnetic anomalies. Shortly thereafter, all team members were struck by sudden illness. The material composing the domes, while resembling copper, cannot be identified and is impossible to scratch, despite being very thin. But what exactly are these Holgas? Who built them, and for what purpose? At present, no official theories explain the origins of these mysterious structures. According to some Russian ufologists, they could be alien artifacts, possibly remnants of a crashed spacecraft. Local legends speak of flaming spheres crossing the sky, phenomena often associated with these domes. Researcher Valery Uvarov believes the domes may instead be part of an ancient defense system built by an extraterrestrial civilization to protect against meteorites or hostile aliens. Some even hypothesize that this system activated on February 14, 2013, preventing a catastrophic meteorite impact on Earth. Could the Siberian domes truly be proof of alien presence on Earth in ancient times? At present, there is no definitive answer. The available information is still fragmentary, but new scientific expeditions are planned for the coming years, aiming to shed light on one of the most fascinating and unsettling mysteries of unconventional archaeology. Since the dawn of time, Homo sapiens has carved scenes of daily life and symbols rich with meaning onto stones and rocks. Ancient artifacts that still speak to us of a distant past, and perhaps of encounters with civilizations of which we've lost all trace. Rock carvings can be found all over the world, but are there petroglyphs that might suggest an ancestral encounter between primitive humans and extraterrestrial visitors? According to some scholars, the answer is yes. Some of the most intriguing examples can be found in Italy, in the province of Brescia, in Val Camonica. The rock engravings of Val Camonica represent one of the richest collections of petroglyphs in the world. Over 300,000 figures carved into stone, true historical relics of enormous value, so much so that they were recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1979. These engravings span a vast time period, from the Neolithic to the pre-Roman era, and depicts scenes of daily life, hunting, battles, and religious rites. The most famous and recurring engraving is the Communion Rose, found in over 90 carvings throughout the valley and now the symbol of the Lombardy region. Its exact meaning remains uncertain. Some scholars believe it may be linked to solar worship, but the debate is still open. What then connects these extraordinary artifacts to the ancient astronaut theory? Some of the engravings display decidedly mysterious features. One in particular has drawn the attention of researchers. It depicts anthropomorphic figures that appear to be wearing a helmet, partially transparent, very similar to an astronaut's helmet. The 2 figures are holding strange objects, which could be hunting tools or technological devices. This specific depiction led Professor Alexander Kasanev to formulate the hypothesis of the 2 astronauts, an idea that gained widespread attention and sparked new research. Similar engravings have been found in Africa, South America, and other regions around the world, suggesting, according to some, the possibility of encounters between ancient peoples and alien civilizations. However, there is no conclusive evidence to support this theory. Most scholars believe the engraving represents a hunting scene or a ceremonial ritual. The supposed helmets could in fact be ritual ornaments or symbolic headdresses used to distinguish roles or social status within the community. Similar accessories are still found in many tribes around the world today. And our journey into the mystery doesn't end here. There is still much more to discover and explore about the theory of ancient astronauts. Hi, I'm John. Our journey into mystery continues, If you want to uncover more hidden truths and answers to the greatest enigmas, leave a like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Together we'll explore the unknown, and who knows what secrets we'll find.